Hello and welcome from all of us here at My Tax Accountant. Now, what if I told you that HMRC might owe you money and you don't even know about it? Seriously. We're talking about unclaimed tax refunds, and for millions of people across the UK, it's like finding a winning lottery ticket stuffed down the back of the sofa. So the big question is, are you one of them? Let's find out. First, let's just take in the sheer scale of this. According to HMRC's latest estimates for the 2025-26 tax year, there is a staggering £300 million in unclaimed tax refunds just sitting there. That's not a typo. That's a huge pile of people's hard-earned cash just waiting to be claimed. And this isn't some rare thing affecting a handful of people. Nope. That massive pot of money is owed to an estimated 12 million UK taxpayers. That's roughly 1 in every 4 people who pay tax. Just think about that for a second. Chances are, you probably know someone on that list. Or, it could even be you. Which, of course, brings us to the most important question of all. Could you be one of them? Well, over the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to give you the exact tools you need to find out. So how on earth does this even happen? Let's break down the common reasons why so many of us end up overpaying tax. The good news is it's usually not your fault at all, but more of a hiccup in our very complex tax system. Right. The main culprits are things you might not even think about. Changing jobs is a massive one, as your tax code can get scrambled in the handover. Then there's the dreaded emergency tax. We'll definitely get back to that one. Juggling a couple of jobs, mistakes made during maternity leave, or, and this is a big one for the self-employed, simply not claiming all your allowable expenses. These are the little cracks your money can fall right through. Okay, so the crucial piece of the puzzle is often your tax code. The best way to think of it is as a little set of instructions HMRC gives to your employer. For this tax year, 2025/26, the standard code for most people is 1257L. That just tells your boss you have the standard personal allowance of £12,570 that you can earn tax-free. If that code is wrong, your whole tax calculation is going to be wrong. Simple as that. And here's why this matters so much right now. The government has frozen that personal allowance at £12,570 all the way through to 2028. Now, as our wages hopefully creep up with inflation, this freeze, which is known as fiscal drag, is quietly pushing more and more of our income into higher tax bands. It means getting back every single penny you've overpaid isn't just a nice bonus anymore, it's absolutely essential. Okay, let's get practical. If you're an employee and you're paid through the pay-as-you-earn system, you'll know it as PAYE. This next bit is your step-by-step guide to checking if you're owed a refund. Here we go. Think of this as the map for your money. For those of us in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, you pay 0 tax on the first £12,570. After that, it's 20% on the next chunk, then 40%, and finally 45% on earnings over £125,140. Understanding where you sit in these bands is the absolute first step to spotting if you've paid too much. And now for a pro tip that catches out so many higher earners. The moment you earn over £100,000, your tax-free personal allowance starts to, disappear. For every £2 you earn over that mark, you lose £1 of your allowance. This creates a hidden tax trap, where your effective tax rate on income between $100K and $125K jumps to a massive 60%. It's a really common area for overpayment. And this just shows you the impact. Take Sarah, a teacher from Newcastle. She had a brief second job, which completely messed up her tax code, leading to a huge overpayment. After checking, she got back £1,500 in income tax and another £80 in national insurance. Boom, that's a real, tangible difference. Holidays sorted. Now, if you live in Scotland, you need to be extra vigilant. Scotland has its own, much more complex system with 6 tax bands instead of 3. As you can see, there's a starter rate, an intermediate rate, and even a higher top rate. All this added complexity just means there's more potential for errors to creep in, which makes it even more important to check your numbers. So here is your action plan. 4 simple steps. First, get yourself onto your personal tax account on the gov.uk website. Second, and this is key, check that tax code. Is it 1257L or is it something else? Third, grab your P60 and compare what you've actually paid to what you think you should have paid. And finally, HMRC has a great online checker tool that can give you an answer in minutes. Easy. That's not all, though. For all the freelancers, contractors, and small business owners out there, things get even more interesting. If you're self-employed, the tax maze has way more hidden corners where refunds can hide, and honestly, the amounts can be much, much larger. And the numbers are just huge. While employees are owed £300 million, it's estimated that self-employed taxpayers are overpaying by a colossal £1.2 billion every single year. And what's the number one reason? You guessed it, missed expenses. And look at how normal these expenses are. We're talking about the cost of using your home as an office, mileage for client visits, professional subscriptions, the software you use every single day, even capital allowances on big purchases like a new van. Every single one of these you miss means you're paying tax on money that was never really your profit to begin with. And just look at the difference it can make. Priya, a freelance copywriter in London, found £8,000 in expenses she just hadn't claimed over a few years. Things like her new laptop, her software subscriptions, even those coffees with clients. The result? A £2,100 refund. That is a real game changer. Another major trap for the self-employed is something called payments on account. This is where HMRC asks you to pay your next tax bill in 2 advanced chunks based on what you earned last year. But what if your income drops? Well, you end up overpaying, basically giving HMRC an interest-free loan with your money. But here's the crucial point. You do not have to just accept this. If you know your profits for this year are going to be lower, you can simply log into your tax account and apply to reduce your payments on account. This is such a vital cash flow tool that way too many freelancers completely overlook. So here's the checklist for the self-employed. First, log into your self-assessment account. Second, go through your records with a fine-tooth comb and dig out every single allowable expense. Third, check those payments on account. Step 4, and this is so important, you can go back and amend returns from the last 4 years. And finally, step 5, formally request that refund. Now, for contractors, the infamous IR35 rules add a whole other layer of complexity. Jamal, an IT contractor, was being taxed like an employee, but had totally failed to claim his business expenses. Amending his return to include £12,000 in legitimate costs resulted in a massive $4,714 refund. It just shows that even within these tough rules, claiming what you're entitled to is absolutely vital. Okay, stay with me. The next section covers some specific traps that catch thousands of people out every year, no matter how they're employed. These are the classic scenarios where we see refunds pop up most often. Let's talk about emergency tax. So you start a new job, and your new employer doesn't have your P45 from your last one. They have to put you on an emergency code. This code doesn't include your tax-free personal allowance, which means you get taxed on all of your earnings. It's meant to be temporary, but it almost always leads to a big overpayment in those first few months. Take Tom's story. 3 months on an emergency code cost him an extra £900 in tax. Once it was all sorted out, that refund was enough to buy a brand new laptop for his studies. It's the perfect example of why you need to get that P45 to your new employer as quickly as you can. This next one might really surprise you. Statutory maternity pay is taxable, yes, but the way it's often processed can be flawed. Payroll systems frequently just tax it at a standard 20% rate without taking into account that your total annual income for that year might actually be much, much lower, maybe even within your tax-free allowance. And this is exactly what happened to Claire. She was busy with her new baby and, honestly, didn't think twice about her tax. But a quick check revealed she'd been overtaxed on her maternity pay to the tune of £600. For any new parent, that is a very, very welcome surprise. This chart gives a great visual summary of where these refunds are really coming from. As you can see, a simple incorrect tax code is the single biggest cause, responsible for 40% of cases. Missed expenses for the self-employed are a really close second at 30%. Then you've got emergency tax and issues around benefits like maternity pay making up the rest. Right, we have covered a lot of ground, so let's pull it all together into one final checklist to empower you to take action right now. This is your game plan for getting your money back where it belongs. Okay, here it is, your final action plan. The single most important thing you can do is log into your personal tax account. It's the key that unlocks everything. From there, verify your tax code, cross-reference your P60, and if you're self-employed, meticulously check those expenses. Use the online tools HMRC provides, and please remember this crucial fact. You have a 4-year window to go back and claim for past mistakes, so don't leave it too late. So that just leaves us with one final and kind of exciting question. After all this sensible stuff is taken care of, what would you actually do with an unexpected tax refund? Pay off a credit card? Book that holiday Sarah from Newcastle is planning? At the end of the day, it's your money. I really hope this guide has empowered you. Checking your tax might seem a bit daunting, but as you've seen, it can be incredibly rewarding. If you found an issue or you just prefer some professional help to get it sorted, the experts here at My Tax Accountant are ready to assist. You can call us on 0208-570-8531 or drop an email to info@mytaxaccountant.co.uk. And for more tips just like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.